of the Robson Independent School District will be held on Monday, June 8th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of the Robstown Administration Building, 81 North First Street, Robstown, Texas 78380, at which time the agenda items will be discussed. In the course of the meeting, the board may change the order of business at its discretion without advance notice. First item, call to order, roll call.
Eva Villalobos present.
Derek Cantu present.
Cesar Martinez present.
Mario Marroquin present.
Mario Mesa present. Erica Aguilar present. Lori Garza is online. Okay. Second item, moment of silence prayer.
Yes, sir. If you'll bow your heads with me. Father God, you've called us, Lord, to do your work here in Robstown ISD, Lord, and tonight is a celebration of that work. It's a celebration of the vision you have for all of us to do your work right here in this community. And Lord, tonight we ask you to continue to guard us and guide us as we do your work. And we ask this in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Quaid. Next item, pledge of allegiance and to Texas flag. Thank you, trustees. Next, we have our vision and mission statements.
Our vision statement is to ignite brilliance and impact lives by providing transformative learning opportunities that empower students for generations to come. Our mission statement is to empower, inspire, and invest in our students and staff, igniting the best version of themselves. Together, we positively impact our community and the world.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Public participation, Irma? None? Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have president remarks. 2026 Summer Leadership Conference in San Antonio, Texas, this week, June 10th through the 13th.
Want to elaborate? You want to elaborate on that?
Yes, absolutely. We are presenting as well on Thursday at 11 a.m. So, Mrs. Garza, how are you doing this evening, ma'am? You ready to rock and roll and present? Amen. Well, I know we had a good lunch, and that's it. That's what we'll do. I know that we had a lunch, and we went over some of the stories together, so I've kind of written those out that you gave me. And then I think Mr. Martinez and I are going to huddle tomorrow for a little bit and also go over some of his stories. And then we'll make it just conversational like we always do. And
I will be there on Wednesday at the hotel, probably around 4, I think.
awesome. And we'll go through it again that evening.
I think that's about the time myself and Ms. Villalobos will be arriving, about 4 o'clock.
Awesome. The conversation piece is your secret weapon is already in your policy manual.
Nice.
That is it.
And the second item is additional board trainings and workshops. Was told that July is going to look pretty busy, so clear your calendars, budgets, workshops. So those are both coming.
Well, we have alternate, like, several days to choose from.
Several days.
That way we can, yeah. Just to make sure that we,
July, all 3 days, clear.
Mr. Guy, I got to take a phone call.
Okay, that ends that. Next, we have superintendent reports. Dr. Puig, superintendent update.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gallegos. So on item B there, you see budget workshops, and we will have several budget workshops in July. And Mrs. Garza and I have been talking about this, and we'll keep them tidy, an hour and a half, 2 hours. There is a lot to cover. And again, it's important that we all can be in attendance and just move that budget through August. But July will be crucial for that. The next thing I want to bring up is the ADA. We finished the year at 2434. What is important to note is attendance, again, was up this year at 91.4. Keep in mind, 4 years ago we were at 85.5, and now we're at 91.1. So kudos to the campuses, the attendance clerks, the principals, the teachers taking the attendance, and everyone just adhering to the system. So that's important. The last thing I want to cover, well, not the last thing, one more thing. EIC local, Mr. Gallegos, myself, we're going to work with Ms. Trevino and a couple of her teammates as we kind of flesh out some ideas around that particular policy. And we're going to have a meeting next week is what we're targeting. It may have to be virtual. So we're going to work on that. The next thing is going over the preliminary STAR academic report. I emailed you guys on Friday, or maybe it was Thursday or Friday. You have a copy in front of you here. It looks like this. Ms. Gar, you have yours in your inbox from Friday, I'm sure. Now, let's just jump to the story here. And you see the bottom line. The results tell us that we are making progress. It is uneven progress, but progress nonetheless. But I really want to go through the key takeaways for the board. You see that section there? We can just each one read one of those. Ms. Villalobos, read the first one there. Number 1, key takeaways for the board.
Sorry. District-wide subject performance improved in ELA. Is positive percent points. Mathematics plus points for 2 high leverage areas connected directly to our instructional improvement strategy.
Yeah, so district-wide, we know ELA and reading's improving. If you look at the second, number 2, Ross Charlie College High School continues to grow. And really, their ELA is up 6 points, math 4 points. Biology's up 10 points, and that's 92%. If you saw that 3 years ago, I think we're in the mid-70s, and now we're at 92%. So, again, if you look at number 3, the elementary campuses in Seal Junior High, we're still uneven. We had pockets that went up, pockets that went down. Several campuses and grades and grade levels showed gains. But again, there's still an opportunity for us to improve that. San Pedro, as I put there, we struggled there, and lots of opportunity there to get San Pedro back on track. Number 4, science is incomplete. The data aren't here. This data are preliminary. We do not have all of the data in from TEA. But here's the main point we want to emphasize tonight. We have to remain consistent. We have to build a consistency of the execution in every classroom so we can gain every year positively across the grade and course level. So if you turn the page, you'll see a couple of tables there by subject. You'll see reading, math, and science and social studies. You see that on the second page? Second page, I'll just sum it up for you. You have, in reading, some very positive gains there, and you also have some losses. I will say, if you look at math, again, some double-digit gains. 6th grade math, unbelievable. 8th grade math, double-digit gains. Algebra, very solid. But again, then you have some areas where you went backwards. 7th grade math. I want to put 7th grade math into perspective. Ms. Chavetta, I don't think anybody's better to put that in perspective than you. You want to come up and say a couple of words about, let's put 7th grade math, kind of talk about a little TEA, the cutoff, and advanced mathematics, kind of give that some context, please.
There? Okay. So this year, actually, end of 2 years ago, we were looking at the data of our 6th graders, and the pathway that TA has set is the accelerated pathway. We've had these conversations back several years about moving our kids into an advanced pathway, and that advanced pathway is setting them up in high school to take the advanced mathematics classes and the college courses. And so this was the first year that we identified our students. They were the incoming 6th graders last year, I'm sorry. Incoming 6th graders, we identified them by the 40th percentile. It was 56 students that in 6th grade, as they were going through their 6th grade courses, we embedded 7th grade TEKS. They ended up taking the 6th grade STAR, and then this school year, they took the 8th grade STAR. So they skipped essentially the 7th grade. And I'm gonna tell you, we had deep conversations about it in the beginning of the school year because, we had to reflect and say, are we in a position to do that, right? Because we knew what our rating was, but at the end of the day, we brought in all the stakeholders, Ms. Alanis, Mr. Garcia, our math teachers who know our students, right? Ms. Mondragon is the one that takes the lead on that, our instructional coach and our APs, and we decided that we were gonna do what's best for kids, and that is what's best for kids, is to make sure that we're pushing them, that we're igniting brilliance, and that we are just stretching them to that rigor. And so we did that. And so we knew that there was going to be a dip, unfortunately, in 7th grade. And you see it there. But we know that we did, at the end of the day, what was going to move the campus or move our students into those pathways that set them up for post-secondary readiness.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Just want to make sure and put that in context.
I just have a quick question. And when you say you knew that there was going to be a dip, what do you mean by that?
So because
what was this?
Well, we didn't know exactly what the dip was going to be, but we did know that because those kids are our top kids. So those are like usually our meets and masters kids that will carry that in 7th grade. Well, now they are in the pocket of the 8th grade. And so that's the dip that we expected to have. So we had to bank in 7th grade on just the approaches students. And so we knew that it was going to affect us in that way, but we also know that at the end of the day, it's our job to see potential in our students and to push them. And that's a decision that we made. Great question. Anything
you.
else?
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Gallegos, did you see similar?
So yes, so what Mr. Rivera is saying, it's things that you see. So I know when I was working at a previous school district up north, and that was the same thing, and it was targeted. 7th grade was targeted because they performed lower than 6th and 8th grade for that exact reason. Because you're taking a chunk of those students away from 7th grade, and you're just left with the students that are in 7th grade, and well, the performance is there. But that's very common. We're going to see that eventually. But seeing the gains in 6th and 8th grade, obviously, then the job's decision was. Yeah.
Yeah, very good gains, double-digit gains in 6th and 8th. If you turn to the next page, page 3, I don't know why it says page 3 of 2, but page 3, you see it by campus level. And so overall, you see Lott Speech with a -1 in math and a +5 in reading. Robert Driscoll grew in math and reading. San Pedro regressed there in math and reading. Science, we're still waiting for all the science scores. Seal, positive in math. We talked about the step back in reading and social studies. And then the high school is really probably the bright spot. If you turn to page 4, I kind of put it like this on page 4.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry to interrupt. On, you said San Pedro increased? I'm seeing.
No,
No,
it's decreased.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. So if you turn to page 4, again, I make the note here that the clear bright spot in some areas to study for execution and replication is the high school. There are some universal things that the high school is doing that everyone needs to be doing well, and it's specifically around expectations and really cultivating the ownership, not just from the teacher, but from the student. I listed some implications there for our 4 pillars, and I want to be real clear about something. It's not about changing strategy or adding any initiatives. You don't want to do that. But you do want to emphasize the execution of the consistent execution of the strategy. So the overall message is we're encouraged. These data aren't final. We will receive some more data this month and through July, and then have the official ratings August 15th, Mrs. Alanis, is that correct? But we are encouraged, but clearly there's still a lot of work. We're happy but not satisfied. Happy to answer any questions related to that. Welcome questions, rigorous questions.
We can email you, right? If you have any questions.
Yes, sir,
I'll
please.
look over this.
Yes, please do. So I want to say this too. I'm encouraged to work with the principals in the room. This work is daunting. Transformation is daunting, and it's not linear. You're not going to have linear improvement. It's not. That's not real. What is real is coaching, attending learning walks, building real powerful PLCs, and then making sure that your Tier 1 instruction is at a level that is superior to ensure kids are experiencing something transformative, as we say. So, thank you, sir.
Question.
Yes.
How often are we visiting campuses? I mean, this on average this past year.
Oh goodness, there was probably, Mr. Garcia, north of 1,000 classroom visits. North of 1,000. Probably 1,100 classroom, 1,200 classroom visits.
Sir, on doing this, I know that I think San Pedro and Lott Speech, they share an instructional coach. Can we look maybe, I think some of the board members have mentioned this, but trying to see about maybe having an instructional coach at every campus rather than having to split. I mean, I'm not an educator, but I would just assume that, you know, having one on campus every day would be beneficial to all campuses, really.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I think what we need to be disciplined about is not more resources, it's using the resources we have well. So it's ensuring that the instructional coach is delivering coaching and nothing else. Does that make sense?
Correct.
So you can have as many coaches as you want, but if they're making tests rather than coaching, then they're never going to be impactful. When you have 10 coaches and none of them are coaching, you can have one coach and that coach is coaching intensely. So what we need to do is make sure that if you're an instructional coach, you're coaching.
Were we not looking at that? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
throughout the year.
Throughout,
changes.
yes, absolutely we are. It's just there's some, I think, past habits, you know, that we're accustomed to and that we ask our coaches to do, whether it's administrative stuff, whether it's building tests and things like that. But the most important thing they need to do is coaching. We know that and I'm not saying those other duties aren't important; they are. But we need to make sure that the coaches are very, very aligned with our campus principals. And they're going, okay, we need to coach Mr. Puig this week. What do you want to coach him on? We need to coach Martinez this week. So it's not more resources. I know intuitively it's like, oh, more resources, that's going to be, no. It's using the resources you have better.
Okay. So you're saying this report, sir, is incomplete still?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So when do we get to complete it?
August 15th.
Usually this is raw data, right?
Right.
Still, okay.
Right. Still got some outstanding data. You'll see incompletes there for science data. Yeah. Yes, sir. But wanted to make sure y'all had something to react to in the moment.
Mr. Gallegos, for the record, it is 7:15. Ms. Garza is no longer present. For Ms. Padilla's records, she will try to log on later, but it's 7:15. I'm sorry, it's 6:15. 6:15 here, 7:15 where she's at. But yeah, she's no longer present as of 6:15.
Next, we have the presentation and information items.
Mr. Vice President, I'd like to recommend that we move M&O update first, as we have Mr. Powell on for that.
Motion?
I don't think we need to make a motion.
No.
Okay.
No, it's within the same agenda items. So.
Good.
Okay.
Just,
So, yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Powell, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
On a Zoom call. I guess. Hope everybody can hear me okay.
Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. So it's my pleasure tonight to kind of give you an update on the field house project. Over the last month, some of the things that have gone on is the framing is now 95% complete on the inside of the building. Main switchgear for the building, the 1600 amp service has arrived. It's on site now. Ductwork's been installed. Electrical panels are being installed, and rough ends are being installed inside the walls now. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing rough ends are also continuing at this time. There's a little slowdown in regard to site work because of all of the rain, but that's really not critical on the critical path or schedule, as long as it
Mr.
Yes.
Powell, what is the projected completion date on this? You said we're on schedule. What is the projected completion date for the project?
Contractual schedule says September 21st. I think they'll come in right in the summer right now, if things continue moving the way they are.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Mr. Powell, what was the mechanical credit they gave us? What piece of equipment?
I didn't quite catch the question, I'm sorry.
The mechanical, credit that we got, what was it for?
For the manufacturer and, the controls.
Electrical?
No, this would all be associated with the air conditioning.
Oh, okay, HVAC.
Yes.
And also, Dr. Puig, can we have a committee meeting before, we present the option to the board?
Yes, sir.
So, I'd like to have a discussion on that.
Absolutely. I'm curious too. We had some trustees got a chance to go tour. Thoughts? What did you see? What were you? I think Mr. Martinez, you also had a
I
chance to
think it
go.
was myself and Ms. Garza, but it was very brief. I hadn't been in there since the old, but it's looking good. I mean, I'm not on the committee, so I wasn't too sure what to look at, and I'm oblivious when it comes to construction. That's why we have Mr. Motokin here, but it looks like it's going well, and Mr. Lawver did mention to us that everything was on schedule. And that was going to be one of my questions. I know some of our constituents on Facebook, have been asking. So I kind of wanted to put that out there for the public, that we are on schedule and that, things take time, obviously, but we're having to repair something that was, dangerous for our students. And we're on schedule. But it looks good. It looks great to me. I mean, completely different from what I had seen prior. And I trust the process.
Just a couple of Fridays ago, Mr. Marroquin got to go a couple of Fridays ago. Then Ms. Garza and Mr. Martinez got to go. It was kind of spontaneous.
I think I went because one of you couldn't go, so I took the spot. Yeah.
No, I had contacted, Mr. Lawver, because I had a little bit of time after work, so I just stopped by, I ran by there just to look at the plumbing deal, but I saw the progress on there.
And I sent an invite for the committee meeting 2 Fridays ago to the three of us. So, yeah. Good. Thank you, Professor Powell. Oh.
Once we get the rough ends in for the electrical, we would want to do another walkthrough to make sure that, all the electrical boxes are in place, or the IT people want them. And so there'll be another opportunity, a group coming up in the next probably 2 or 3 weeks to go through it again, if anybody's interested.
Hey, Mr. Lawver, did we have to, we upgraded the panel box, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I called you Lawver, sorry.
Yes,
Okay,
we wanted a 1600 amp service on this one where we had our 800 amp.
I got you.
All right, thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Trustees, real quickly, I do apologize. I was under the impression that we were still under superintendent updates. It was about 6:17 that we moved item 8E up. So if we can entertain, I know we all agreed to it, but just for the record, if we can entertain a motion, I'd like to make a motion that we move item 8E up before Robson ISD donations. Do I have a second?
First and second, Mr. Martinez.
All those in favor to move item E up to item A under presentation and informational items, Mr. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu? Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Motokin? Mr. Mesa? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Okay, our next item is now A, RISD donations.
Thank you, Mr. Gallegos and trustees. Just a few shout outs here from CLM Business Services, $200 donation that went to Lot Speech Leadership Academy, second grade, Ms. Padilla. And then, of course, Tesla, $1,000 to Teacher Appreciation. And I believe we have one more here that we want to make sure we give some public recognition to. And that's Golden Chick, $316.80 for campus needs and incentives. So grateful for our picker partners.
Sir, I have a question on that.
Sir.
On the Tesla thing, did they not fill out a form? I know that you mentioned that they donated for the end of the year banquet for the band. Is that not a donation form that they have to fill out, or?
Probably so. It probably will show up on the next.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, just so I can see, because I know that that bill was actually on our list of bills that we paid for it.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure.
So we got to put that one on too, right, Ms. Padilla? We'll get that on the next month. Yes, sir.
And then I guess a reimbursement, or how does that work? Did they give it to us, or?
Give it to us. Give us a check.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, so
Yeah.
the list of bills is incorrect. Because it says list of bills on here that
What page are you
the
on?
district paid for the band.
What page is that?
I don't know, I looked.
Well,
That's what I'm saying, so,
Yeah.
but that was my question. Does it come as a donation, or does it?
It comes as a donation. It's a check.
Okay,
Yeah, so
so-
we
so
receive
they
a
don't-
check from Tesla. We deposit, then we cut a check.
Okay, so we don't need a donation form then?
I mean,
No, I just want to know, because we gave them credit for something else. I want to make sure that they get credit.
yeah. We typically do a donation form anyway.
Okay,
to
I was just
acknowledge it
curious, sir.
publicly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next item, we have the SHAC report for the 26-27 school year.
All right. Nurse Chavez, how are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Well, great.
Villalobos, gentlemen, Dr. Puig. How are y'all?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So I'm going to present the annual SHAC report. And let's see. Okay, thank you. All right. So our SHAC, as you know, we have our own mission, visions, and goals. The Texas Health Advisory Committee, which is our TSHAC, assists the Department of State Health Services Department to support and coordinate school health programs and school health services. It also provides leadership to identify and disseminate school health best practices, resources for school policymakers. Our vision is that we, the TSHAC, envision healthier Texans through coordinated school health. Our mission is to assist establishing a leadership role for the DSHS in the support for and delivery of coordinated school health programs and school health services. Our goals are to achieve leadership, best practice identification, dissemination, and coordinated skill health promotion. So every school district, we have to have a SHAC. And it involves parents, students, and community members. On this next page, you have all our current SHAC members. Occasionally, we have a few different people who come in. Everyone is welcome. We are on the 8 components of the whole school, whole community, whole child model, which is health education, health and safety school environment, counseling, and mental health services, parent and community involvement, staff wellness promotion, health services, physical education, and nutrition services. That is what SHAC covers. Oops, sorry. We had actually 5 meetings this year. We started with one at the end of August in order to get a certain curriculum voted on, and we did that. And then we had one in October, December, February, and on the April. Some of our speakers and guests are listed here. Different entities, different resources that coordinate with us to promote all these services. You'll find the list there. The SHAC year in review, these are some of the things that the SHAC does. This is what we work for. We approved the Character Strong curriculum. It's district-wide. It's a program that's multi-tiered system of supports. And we got that done. That was one of the first things we did. Then we immediately went into the SB 12 updates and new consents to treat. Information was reviewed, updated, and in place. At first, we started out with paperwork, which was really hectic because it was over the weekend of Labor Day. And then we had to immediately get to that on top of, doing all the other things. Well, finally now, I think we've worked it out with PEEMS that we've got a better application. When you do your application for enrollment, it's on there. It's a little bit simpler. The verbiage has changed, so that's a good one. Fentanyl awareness. We did staff training. That's completed. Security updates. Those are a constant at every meeting. Shared community resources. That is one of our main purposes, to share what's available to our families, our students in the community. We partnered with the American Heart Association on health and safety initiatives. We collaborated with the Alzheimer's Association for awareness and resources. We worked with the Coastal Bend Foundation on Project Turnaround, which supplied all the campuses new Narcan for free. So they're amazing. They provide other things too. We conducted our annual flu vaccine clinic for the staff, and that's annually. We had a very successful breast cancer walk. That one was amazing. We have that every year in October. We've had the Stop the Bleed training. We conducted the hands-only CPR training. We provided diabetes training to our front office staff. Again, I'm gonna say that your nurse is not always gonna be the first one on the scene, so it's very important that certain people are trained. We conducted the Narcan training with the staff as well. And then this one was new to us. It's a really big deal, and it's important. I'm very happy to say that we worked with the American Heart Association on Project Adam to ensure that all campuses have a cardiac response plan completed and in place. That plan has been turned into the American Heart Association for review, so we have that going. So, completed training for new vision, hearing, and scoliosis state reporting. It's a new site through the Texas Department of State Health Services. That was new. It's longer. It's a little more tedious, but we got it done. We worked on free student sport and band physicals, and we submitted our immunization reports with 100% compliance again every December. And then we conducted our first triennial assessment of the wellness policy, and I'll get into that a little later. So just some basic SHAC information is that it has to be put on the website 3 days before the meeting, and then all the information has to be uploaded no later than the 10th day after the meeting. And then there's some references. And any questions on that? No? So we don't. ESC2 is working on providing that for our staff and for the departments within the school district, should they want to do that, and they can only allow 6 per training session. And so I'm working with her on trying to figure out what days she can come and coordinate, like who wants to. I know that there was a couple of departments that had asked if they could get CPR training. As far as for the community, I don't think so, because it's through the Education Service Center. I don't know, I'm not really sure. I could ask her if.
Maybe if they would do it
for the public.
Or something, especially if we do have, subs, substitute teachers
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good idea, because, they're not trained on Stop the Bleed. When substitutes come in, they don't know where our AEDs are.
And the nurse is not always gonna be there.
That's right, I say that too much. You're listening, I love it, Ms. Villalobos. All right. So next is the information that I have on our triennial assessment of the wellness policy. Is that on there? All right, so I'm going to read to you. It's a little bit of information that I have to tell you about. So I'm going to read because I'll forget some things. So our local wellness policy can be found on the Robstown ISD website under the Child Nutrition tab. As required by the Texas Department of Agriculture, every school district that participates in the National School Lunch Program must develop, implement, and assess a wellness policy. A local wellness policy is a written document that outlines district-level goals to establish, evaluate, and maintain healthy school environments. The policy addresses local, state, and federal requirements related to nutrition education and promotion, physical activity, and other school-based activity that supports student wellness. The wellness plan also creates a strategy for how these policies will be implemented throughout the school environment. Every 3 years, the districts are required to complete a triennial assessment to evaluate school compliance and measure progress toward meeting the goals outlined in the local wellness policy. This year marks Robstown ISD's very first triennial assessment. Because this is our first assessment, some components of the wellness plan are still in the early stages of implementation. This year, our district wellness teams and administrators came together to review the actual plan, assess current practices, and identify ideas for growth and development and improvement. Each campus principal will serve as the wellness champion for their school and is responsible for selecting a wellness committee to review the plan, objectives, interventions, and goals annually. Please note that while our campuses follow the same district wellness policy, there may be some differences between the primary and secondary schools. Action steps and interventions may be adjusted to best fit the needs of each campus and student population. What is important is that this assessment gives us a starting point and provides the tools and directions needed to continue improving our wellness efforts district-wide. There is no right or wrong in this process. The purpose of this assessment is to honestly evaluate who we are, where we are, recognize the areas of success, and identify opportunities for growth. We will continue working collaboratively with our administrators, wellness committees, child nutrition department, and SHAC to ensure our policies and practices align with our district goals of promoting student health, wellness, and academic success. So with that, this is the template that I'm showing you here. And so we reviewed this. This is all new to us. So we started out with the fact that the designated officer for ensuring district compliance with wellness policy and oversight is identified, and that is me. Then each campus has a designated wellness leader, and we agreed. It wasn't in place because this is new to us, so it's not in place. Principals will appoint a wellness leader. Principals appointed a wellness leader and wellness committee selected. So it's kind of describing the actions and asking if these things are in place or not. So being the fact that this was our first one, you're gonna see a few check marks on the ones that they're not in place yet because this is what we're working for. And then we'll meet yearly kind of just to go over if we need to change anything. And then in 3 years, if we have to change it, I'll come back and you'll see me give this lengthy presentation and I will show you what we've changed, or if things are going good, we don't have to change them,
So
right?
do you have to, is there a date that you have to, I'm sorry for interrupting you, ma'am, sorry.
No.
Is there a date that you have to maybe submit something that it is now in place, or it's just something that we have to move on?
So all we have to do is upload it to the website
Okay,
and make sure that it's there. Should Mr. Williams auditors that come to check now, it's more of a child nutrition
okay.
kind of, that those are the ones that come in and look and see, because a lot of this is mainly geared towards nutrition. And so he gets reviewed, the department gets audited, and they make sure that this is in place, that the policy is in place, and that this is uploaded and available for the community to see that it's there, should someone look for it.
Okay.
That they know, hey, this is what we started with, this is what we're working on, and so forth.
Okay.
Right?
perfect.
So, as you can see, not in place was that the wellness leader submits school level report, because we haven't done that. This is our first one. Not in place, meeting dates established and distributed to the committee members of the public. It's not in place. Partially in place was to the extent possible, committee includes representatives of all those listed there: the parents, students, district nutrition services, physical education teachers, school health professionals, local school board, I'm gonna need one of you, school administrators, and the general public. So that's partially in place. And then under the child nutrition, some of those are partially in place as well. The district shall provide professional development so that staff responsible for the nutrition education program are adequately prepared to deliver the program. That one's partially in place. And then the next one, the goals for implementing physical activity. We came together on that because some of the primary and the secondary schools have different activities and whatnot, so we need to come together and decide on a participation and kind of just look through that, comb through and decide what we're gonna use as activities. And then partially in place for other school-based activities, talks about eating meals in the cafeteria, how much time they're gonna be there. Fully in place was the food and beverages sold. Food and beverages sold, the nutrition guidelines, those are in place. Not in place was the sale of food and or beverage includes all or direct, indirect sales. There's some discrepancy there, so we're gonna work on that. And then the last two were in place. Food or beverages given to a student as a reward for good behavior on performance award are not considered a sale to a student. And then the last one, breakfast and lunches provided by parents or guardians are not subject to the competitive food standards. And we do have parents who bring lunches to their children, so we can't really just, intervene on that and say that it was part of the nutrition guidelines. So that's where we're at. We're gonna meet yearly and just discuss and make sure that all of this is in place and what we need to change, and then we'll come up again in 3 years to do it again. Any questions on that, guys? No questions? Oh, I love it, thank you. I mean, that's great.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nurse Chavez. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Next, we have our academic update and TIA updates.
Thank you, Mr. Gallegos. At this time, we'd like to invite Joshua Garcia and his team up, Dr. Medrano. I know Tia is going to make a good appearance here. Belinda Alanis. Deanna Silvas, I know you'll be coming up. This is lots to celebrate here. It's good stuff.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Puig, and those online. We're going to start with our academic update. We're going to start off with some updates on how our early literacy students are doing when it comes to our early screeners and our end of year. Dr. Medrano is going to go over through that. And then we're going to talk about an update on our LIFT LASSO 4 grant. And then we'll get a TIA update. So I'm going to push it over to Dr. Medrano. She'll talk about some M-Class data.
Good evening. I'm used to saying Madam President, but it's Mr. Vice President, Dr. Puig, and board members. We met last month, or we discussed M-Class last month a little bit, and now we've concluded testing. And we want to review our early childhood scores, because that's been a big focus this year is on literacy. So if we look at Kinder, these are official data, and we look from beginning of year to end of year. The huge gold star goes to the fact that we had kids that kept rolling up, and now we went from 12% that were above benchmark to now 20% above benchmark. So that's an 8% gain in kindergarten. That's amazing. We're beyond excited to see that. We saw declines in below and at, and again, because they are rolling up. Or that's district-wide, I'm sorry. I'm used to district-wide overall, sorry. Now this is kindergarten. Kindergarten got 3 gold stars because if you look for well below, and at, they all went, there was a 5% difference in the positive way. Well below declined by 6%, nope, 5%. Below declined by 7%, and that rolled up basically to at benchmark, which is grade level. That increased by 13%. That should have 2 gold stars. But that did increase by 13%. So our kinder teachers are working so hard. This data definitely shows their hard work. First grade continues that hard work. We went from 61 to 54% at well below. And then again, it kind of rolls up to above benchmark. They increased by 5%. Second grade, we had a decline in well below by 5%. And again, they kind of roll up to above benchmark. They went all the way up to 18%. And our third grade have lots of stars because, again, well below went down by 5%. They rolled up, and they had a 13% gain at above benchmark. So all of our early childhood teachers, our K through third grade, are working very hard, like most of our teachers, but this data really shows their hard work. And we wanted to take the time to share 3 teacher stories. One of them is one of our kindergarten teachers. Out of 20 students that she teaches, 17% of them met or exceeded their expected growth. 8 of them had above average growth. So her growth was 85%. And guys, that is not the highest in the district. This is one example. Our second example is the actual highest in the district. Out of 32 students, 29 again met or exceeded their expected growth. 11 of the 32 hit well above average growth. So those are kids jumping potentially 2 of those colors or staying within their same color, but just knocking it out of the park, just really, really working. So she had almost 91% growth this year. Our third story, and this is a special story, this is a first-year teacher at 88.89% growth. Out of 45 students, 40 of them met or exceeded expected growth, and 25 of them had well above expected growth. I had to text, as soon as I ran the data, I texted Dr. Puig, I was with Ms. Silvas, and I said, we have to look at this data more because her kids jumped, again, multiple levels, and she now has a classroom full of honestly above benchmark students. So our teachers are working extremely hard. We are seeing it definitely with this screener, and we are very proud of what they're doing. Any questions about in-class before I turn it over to Mr. Garcia?
Sorry, real quick, I do want to add is, we're leading forward, going forward, and we're keep closing the gap. But, before we've always had strugglers in our lower grade level. So with these kids now being more prepared going up to the second grade level, it just helps our teachers in third and fourth grade because now they're coming prepared and ready for grade level instead of having to close the gap before they can even start teaching the TEKS that are on grade level. So I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Yeah, so how does this correlate to our strategic plan? Of course, this is a testament to our teachers really and our campus leaders, our instructional leaders really sticking to that tier 1 instruction of the HQIM. So this is a testament to our amplified curriculum and our teachers' very hard work and our students, producing those results. So we're really sticking to that strategic plan of the tier 1 of instruction and making sure all the alignment is there. But of course, working on lesson internalization, things like that, coaching, of course. So this is just showing that the legwork is showing some signs already in sticking to that tier 1 instruction. It's showing that in the data already. It's slow and steady, but of course we're seeing that growth. So talking about the growth, and we talked about the STAR data, we're looking at LASSO 4 LIFT update. This is the grant that we're getting a lot of support in for math. Last year was called Strong Foundations. Of course, now it is now LIFT. But now what we're really excited about is we're going to be getting additional support in RLA, ELAR, English, early literacy for K-5. So we're going to see even more growth when it comes to that because we're going to start getting support for RLA and early literacy. Where we're at on that, we did already finalize the schedule of services with our approved provider with Great Minds. They've been in here helping us create a plan of action for the entire school year for the next couple years and looking at RLA. We don't have a current RLA plan. So with the grant, we did get RLA K-5 planning. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the meet of the great minds of literally and literally and physically. We're going to have a lot of our providers that have been helping us in RLA for action planning for early literacy. We're going to have a call where all of the providers, NIET, ESC2, and Great Minds, we're going to have an alignment call to make sure that we're all aligned with what we've been doing in the past. That way, when Great Minds comes in and we create an action plan, everybody's talking the same language and we're getting that same support. We've scheduled the services for the beginning of the school year and throughout the school year for our different campuses in math support and RLA support. We did conduct a needs assessment. Great Minds wanted to really look at where we at as a whole in the district of the services that are being provided, what we're doing, master schedules, bell schedules, things just like that. And then also what we're doing for learning walks. They really wanted to get a hold of everything we're doing in the district so that way they can know where they need to provide support. We did do that action planning meeting earlier I think it was last week, earlier last week, where campus principals came in and assistant principals so we could go over the survey. The Great Minds wanted to know where they felt we were on math support, math implementation, RLA implementation, and we kind of analyzed the data on that and where we are as a district and what services and what support is needed. We did identify some areas for attention for next year, and that's where we're going for the schedule of services. And of course, the 26-27 action plan is in progress with Great Minds, so we have another big action plan meeting coming up later this month so that we can finalize that plan for RLA and for math moving forward. Any questions on LIFT or support for math and reading? Now we'll start with our TIA update. I'll invite Ms. Silas.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President, Dr. Puig, and members of the board. Exciting news for TIA as we continue our journey. A couple of things happened during the month of May, but in summary, a lot of things happened. We actually completed and finalized all meeting with every single teacher on student roster. So you can see there the different dates of when we met with each one of the campuses to finish up. Of course, Ms. Alanis attended some training dealing with DMAC that includes our end of year data. And we continued to work on our presentation. We're excited. We'll be presenting this week in San Antonio as well, and we're going to go ahead and charm everyone, just like Madam President said that y'all will be, making sure that you charm everyone. We're going to charm with our smiles, and of course with all the journey that we have to share with them as well. So we're excited about our presentation. And we also started with the Service Center looking at our data. We had a data validation workshop that we attended. And last but not least, we had a meeting last week, the same day as the LIFT meeting. Dr. Medrano and I joined our rural cohort to discuss our next steps as we continue this process. Super exciting news that we received on that same day that we were on the Zoom training. Our application that we submitted for expansion was accepted on first submittal. So we're excited about that. Great things coming up with TIA. Exciting.
Doubling the number of teachers.
Oh my
eligible.
goodness, yes. And that was great to hear that we didn't have to make any edits to our application, but as we were on the Zoom, people were receiving the emails that the applications had been approved. So it was great timing while everyone was on the Zoom and everyone received great news. So we're excited that our journey continues, and we'll see what next year brings with the expansion of doubling the amount of teachers. Questions that y'all might have on TIA? All right, we thank you.
Sir, I just have I know that this is like an academics, but on the employment thing that we posted on social media, have we been seeing a lot of applicants already applying for the vacancies that we posted?
Oh, yeah.
Just 'cause
We are
kind of
getting a
over that
lot of
topic.
interest in various positions. Very encouraging.
Good.
Very encouraging. Yes.
And that's what I was hoping for. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that we get a lot of interviews for.
They've
There
got
was
good
quite a
buzz.
few positions that we posted, so I was kind of curious if we had
Good
applicants.
buzz.
And,
Mhm.
okay, great.
Yep.
When do we post, that we have job vacancies? What time when around do we?
Well,
No,
when-
but like the month, because I know that some of the teachers, or if somebody wants to come from another district, they're already having to commit before May or by May. Because I had actually one teacher who wanted to transfer or to come over to Robstown, but she had to commit to a contract over where she was at in her district, and she didn't know there was going to be openings over here until I guess we recently just posted them.
Well, I think
They've
they're-
been posted for a while.
I think
There's a
they're posted.
resignation period there too. That
Okay.
kind of
Okay,
a
well, I
penalty-free
told her, I
period.
said, well, she's already locked in over there. I said, well, just don't worry, we got next year. We
But
can
I
bring
but
you
I
next
but I
year.
assume that once a position comes available, that it's posted on our website immediately. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So if they want to start maybe looking to come to the district, just maybe around March, April, around there, just to keep kind of looking? Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, she saw it. She's like, oh, Ms. Villalobos, you know, I didn't know. I was like, well, keep looking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'll let her know.
40, 45?
45. I'm not too sure. But I told her, I said, just, you know, if we need to, just, you know, focus for next year. Maybe I can get her to come over here, you know, it'd be closer for her anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to hear that we have a lot of interest.
Next we have our safety reports.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chief Dogley, how are you, sir?
Good. Greetings, Vice President, Dr. Puig, board members. This is our monthly safety update. We just had our summer session district safety committee meeting held on June 2nd. During that meeting, we had the City of Robstown Fire Chief was about to give info on hurricane preparedness for the city side. We also had Nurse Chavez give a presentation on our bleeding control kits. Our social workers gave a presentation on our behavioral threat yearly data. We talked about some law updates that have come up in the 89th legislation. And we had our intruder detection audit. On May 19th, we had our last one, or the last day before school, the day before the last day of school. They did an IDA at our Robert Driscoll. We passed it. So for the year, we went 5 for 5 with 100% on all our campuses. So. Yes. We also I'm currently working on our summer training. We have scheduled for our SABLE training in Mission, Texas, where all the police officers will go to that training from July 13th through July 16th. And then I'm also scheduling with the Nueces County Sheriff's Office additional training that they provide free of charge to the district. Any questions?
Sir, just because I like to brag about our district, but I'm looking at the minutes that I took from the committee meeting. Can you give an update? I know that Senate Bill 57, there were some changes on there. Chief Dogley mentioned that the changes that were required, we didn't need to do that because we've already been doing that. So we're ahead of the game there. But
yes.
If you can elaborate on that, sir.
Senate Bill 57 said that we had to have on our district safety committee, that by law now they put that we have to have a representative from the SPED department inside our district safety committee, which Ms. Blanton's been a part of our safety since she's been here. So that was never an issue. By law now, it's my state rep. By law now, you have to have your SPED students a part of your drills, which I guess some districts weren't having their SPED students during our drills, but we've done that since everybody's involved when we do our drills every year. So those are things that we were ahead of the curve on as far as laws that were coming up and changing.
Sir, can you also, just so the board is aware, touch a little bit, or I don't know if you can or not, but I was just going over the minutes that you spoke about the new update as far as where we are now required to offer Stop the Bleed to our students.
Yeah, they added plus we have to make it available to our staff. Now they've added to where we have to make it available for our 7th grade students to our 12th grade students. I got with the committee just to go over some possible ways we could do that, either setting a period for during the school day that we could do it like during their PE or one of their free periods that we can move forward on that, or offering it on a Saturday or doing a combination of both. For some grades we can do it at school, for some we'll offer it on the weekends.
Stop the Bleed.
For the Stop the Bleed training. So that was what we talked about, discussed, so we can, over the summer, I'll plan for it and see how it'll work, and we'll go from there.
But this isn't mandatory, correct?
It's not mandatory, but we just have,
mandatory offer it.
we just have to offer it to 7th to 12th grade.
And do they, I don't remember, do they have to opt in, or are they automatically there and they have to opt out? How does that work?
We would have to send out a parental slip to each student, so that say if they want to be a part of it or not.
If they want to be, okay, okay.
But we have to just offer it out, though, to that grade levels.
Okay. So,
Is there like the kids that we call the bait kids?
Mhm.
Like, you are all, is all we do is send a DEP, like, we don't give them tickets, we don't find the parents, we don't send them to court, we don't do none of that kind of stuff?
I met with the DA's office, I met with the juvenile, there's, basically in Oasis County, as far as the way I've been explained to, for possession, they don't take the DPS, because we have to send it to get tested, for charges to be filed. But if they don't test it, then the DA won't take the cases at the district attorney's office. So again, like I said, I have tried to see other ways around it to go that way as far as adding citations with the courts. But then with the courts, they've also, the municipal court and the JP court, I have to get some sort of letter saying, what do I do with the vape? Do I have to keep it or can I dispose of it? Like I said, I've tried to reach out to get some more information on it, but that's what I've been told at this point right now. So unless there's a way we could test it, and there are machines that they sell that test it, but if it isn't a report from the DPS labs, then the DA won't take the case, so.
Even if it's nicotine, if they're under 18, it's still illegal.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you have to be under 20, anybody 21 or younger.
I get it, we have to test it to further the charges, but at this point, what we're being taught is, whether it's nicotine or not, they're still not allowed to have it because they're under 18.
Yes, sir. And
Well,
I know
they
that
shouldn't have it either way. I mean, they shouldn't have it either way. Yeah. No, but I'm saying around here, you know.
And I know there is legislation going towards the smoke shops that they're trying to go after. I don't know if they've changed yet, but I know that they've tried to change a lot of the things that they're doing on that side. But again, I am trying to work with the courts to see, give me some options, because we are dealing with that a lot, so.
It's rough because we have one like walking distance from our high school.
We have two. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
sir, and that goes directly to the district attorney's office. Is there anything as far as, like you mentioned, the JP or municipal court, can that go to their office, or does it need to be?
Yes, we have talked as far as that on that side also, but the thing with that is that they have to tell me, or the legal side on the court have to tell me, do we store them? Because I've been told storing them is a fire hazard, or if we can dispose of them, just have some document. Yeah, they can't set fire, they can't explode. Or, because then we would keep them, we'd have to keep them on school grounds. But, or if I could just take photos, take pictures of them, have documentation, and then file, but they have to give me something in writing before I can move forward on that.
And they haven't done that?
As far as, the last time I met with them, they were still working on it, so I can meet with them again over the summer, that was my plan, so.
I mean, that makes sense, just to go back to his point, just, if the DA is, waiting for the DPS to get that, I mean, if we have documentation on that, going back to him, if they would be done here, faster,
Yes,
that's a
sir.
good question. Thank-
Regardless whether it's THC or just regular vape, both illegal and being in possession because they're underage.
Yes, sir.
So however you look at it, it's not right.
Yes, sir.
I think that's it. Thank you, Chief.
Mm.
Thanks, sir.
Mm.
Next, trustees, we have a list of bills and financial statement reports. You'll have, if you have any questions, just reach out. Okay? Okay, if we want to item 9, consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items.
Okay, I was listening.
First, Mr. Martinez, and second, Mr. Mesa.
I forgot my question, sir, but I'll email you on the budget amendment. We have a first and a second to approve consent agenda items. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu?
Aye.
Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Motokin? Mr. Mesa? Motion carries.
Next, we have, item 10, discussion, item A, standards for bullying prevention.
Thank you, Vice President Gallegos and trustees. Mrs. Villalobos wanted to talk about this a little bit, and we met recently to but to come together with the idea of building out a committee that we have already and adding you to that committee and really getting your perspective also on some of the perceptions around bullying. But I also wanted to invite a principal up. I was going to invite Ms. Chavette up because she does an extraordinary job of handling bullying. I mean, very meticulous. And I wanted her to kind of speak through that process, including the checklist we use, because just because someone says it's bullying doesn't mean it's bullying. There's a process, right?
Correct.
So I wanted.
Good evening once again. Several years ago at SEAL, there was a time when we were being very retroactive and we were reacting. I remember we got to Christmas time and we were running around just trying to put a Band-Aid on what was happening. And I remember I brought in my team, my counselors, my APs, and I said, we have to get ahead of what's going on, and we also have to have a process to articulate what it is that we're doing. And that's when we found the checklist, the school safety checklist, that identifies what it is that qualifies as bullying, right? A lot of times what we see, especially in the middle school, because they've moved from that elementary potting, right, with their, I see like they're with their teacher, right? It's like a little family, and they move together to lunch, and they go to PE, and then they come to SEAL, and there's so many opportunities every 55 minutes. They have 3 minutes of passing period to, have issues, and that causes conflict is really the majority of what we're seeing, right? And sometimes there is bullying. So we wanted to be able to document on our end, right, what we're doing, but also make sure that we are catching bullying when it happens. And so our process starts with the bullying checklist. We go through it, and if it meets the criteria, then our parents, both the victim, the alleged victim, and the alleged perpetrator will get a letter from the school stating that there's been an allegation, we have 10 days to investigate, and we always put preventative measures. Do you want us to have them have counseling? Do you want to change classes? Is that something we want to do? Do you want them to come to the office during a time period? Sometimes we've gone to the extent that security guard or somebody will escort them to class, or we hold them back until after the bell rings. And so we will put that in place until we investigate. At the end of the 10 days, we try not to take that much time. We will give a letter to both stating, yes, there was evidence, or no, there wasn't. I want to say we've had 8 this school year that we've done official ones where we have gone through the entire process to find if there was bullying or not. But aside from that, we did talk at the safety meeting about threats, right? Whether it's physical, verbal, those of a sexual nature, and SEAL probably has them, well, they do in the whole district, that we meet every week with our counselors and our social workers and the whole entire team, and we talk about some of our students and some of the patterns that we're seeing. And in some cases, we do feel that we need to take additional steps. Sometimes it's outside resources, sometimes it's additional counseling with social workers or counselors, but we take those steps to ensure that the kids are getting the support that they need. I don't know if there's any questions.
And when you do find that it is a subject of bullying, what are the consequences?
So we have our discipline manual, and so depending on the severity of the bullying, it can go all the way up to DAP. Sometimes it's ISS, OSS, but what it really needs to be, and what we really focus with our counselors and our social workers, is teaching change behavior. So we have sometimes where we do classes with a social worker. The social workers will work with them one-to-one to talk to them about their actions and what they're doing. So just changing that behavior is the long-term goal, because the consequences, not that it's a Band-Aid, because in a lot of cases we have very supportive parents that are like, this is what you're doing, and they're very supportive on our side with the consequence, but it has to be changed behavior. So it depends. For sure there's a consequence if it breaks the code of conduct, because that's what we're required to do. But in addition to that, we have behavior coaching that we'll offer to our students.
Now, do we have a zero tolerance policy? Is it
zero tolerance if we find bullying? Okay, so I want to clarify the verbiage, because it's not always bullying. Like I said, that's why we have that checklist. And every time there's an allegation and they say bullying, we use that checklist. We have like folders of it. Right. And like I said, sometimes it's conflict. Sometimes it's talking to the parent of the other student. And a lot of our parents are like, oh my God, my child is doing this. No. And they help us correct that behavior. But it has to happen first. But for bullying, yes, if we find, and it's an imbalance of power, if they're outnumbered like 3 kids to 1, 2 kids to 1, an 8th grader to a 6th grader. It's repeated. There's a pattern. If we find evidence of that, then for sure, I mean, there's no tolerance.
And
Zero
how
tolerance.
has that been able to, I guess, what are the results of your counseling and how has it, what the outcome has been, I guess you could say?
I don't know that we're measuring the actual outcome because what we want to see is that we send them to the high school and that they have adjusted, you know.
Your turn.
No, but
girl.
adjusted, right? And that behavior has changed. So I don't know that we're measuring behavior, but the data that we saw at the safety meeting was, like I said, all those threat meetings. I think they were going to pull one of the questions that you guys had on that.
Yeah, because a lot of times I know that there are kids that get bullied. They just don't report it because they're scared of what, the repercussion could be. Either it's not taken care of or handled in a manner that maybe it's to their, comfort, to where they feel comfortable coming back to school, because I know firsthand, I know of 2 students who have withdrawn from the high school in particular, and because they are terrified to come to school. And we should not be a district like that. We should not have campuses to where students are literally terrified to go to school, and they're literally shaking because they're that scared, because they got jumped in between classes when nobody was around, in the restrooms, and it's both female and male. So this thing of us counseling them, I think probably has to be something like that, to maybe when they're kind of, on a lighter level. But if it gets to the point of bullying, that's something else that we need to start addressing a little bit more strict, because this isn't going anywhere. And we're having kids in this day and age that can just leave school now. They've got the option. I'm going to get homeschooled, so they'll use that as a way out. And because I know, for example, one did. They said they were going to get home. They did not get homeschooled. They just got out. They found it to be out.
And we've done restorative circles as a group. Conflict circles, our counselors are trained in that to have those conversations. But you're right. A lot of times we don't know. And I always try and remind my parents, I don't know what I don't know. And first line of defense is always going to be the teacher in the classroom. That is the adult in charge of what's happening in that classroom. They have to know first, right? By the time it gets to us, many times it goes home at night. There's a conversation, and then the next day, and then the student's absent. But the teacher is the first line of defense. And we've had several conversations with parents. It's a partnership, right? It's a partnership. We work together to set the students on the right path. And we've had some successful conversations where we've listed, here's an email. This is the action, or we took an action. We can't always share details, right? This was a call. This is what we did. Child came in. Ms. Rodriguez, and along with Mr. Barrera, they do a great job of every office visit that happens at Seal Junior High is recorded in a log. We have a Google form, and we can go back, control find, and find every time that child was here, and were they the victim, and so we are able to articulate that to parents, and we want to help.
Numbers used to be high, right? I remember they used to be real high, right?
Yeah.
They've gone down to, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
We represented youth sports big time. Like, we have no we have a no
Zero tolerance.
policy for that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna pick on a kid or you're gonna hit somebody blindsided just because you don't like them, that's gonna be the last time you put on a suit or a helmet for our organization.
That's great. How many repeat offenders do we have?
Try to nip it in the bud too, when we see it or hear it, or, because it happens everywhere, not just in school. It's
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. That's understandable. But my concern is our school. And yeah, I understand, but it's a thing. How many repeat offenders do we have?
Repeat for like where we've
As far as
found them
bullying
to
that
be
you-
bullying.
yeah.
Like I said, we've completed 8 full investigations where we've had already issued a consequence. It was continuing, and parents said, now I'm going to do, we have a form that they fill out. This is what's going on. They complete the narrative. Sometimes we've opened those investigations. It wasn't the parent. We saw what's going on here. This child continues to come in with conflict. So we've had 8 this school year. For
Yeah,
surgery.
because I know that I've had some people tell me that, they go to ISS and it's just kind of like a free day. Like,
Not this school year. They did
no,
not like ISS.
and I'm just like, I don't know, because I'm not in there.
It is
So
not
I don't
free.
know, but they're kind of like to the point of like, I don't mind it, and it's like, well, you should mind it. It should be something that you're scared of going to. It should be something you're scared of getting, suspended from school from. or any of these disciplinary actions, they should be something that they're scared of. Instead, they're welcoming them as a way to get out of class, as a way to get out of school, and using, like I said, now they have the option of going ahead and saying, you know what, I just want to get out of school. Mom, I'm getting bullied, or, I don't want to go to school anymore because so-and-so is not, they'll just use any kind of excuse now that we're having to face this, to where so many options are given to these kids now. And we have no way of verifying that they're actually taking, homeschooling or anything, so.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Going back to your point, Ms. Soto, that's I kind of, and from being on the committee last year, as Ms. Chavera mentioned, the bullying cases have gone down. And going back to what you're saying, kids can come nowadays and they just don't want to go to school, and that can be an excuse that they're being bullied. Now, have they reported anything? As Ms. Chavera said, if they don't know, and I understand maybe at some point the kids are afraid of repercussions, but at the same time, they can't move if they are not aware. And what I had a question, when you say the disciplinary handbook or manual, is that, I know there's only so much you can obviously tell a parent, right, what you do, but are those steps, is that anything online as far as the student code of conduct, or is that disciplinary manual available to the public where they can go back and see, like, what is y'all's protocol? Because what I do also want to mention is, back to what Mr. Mesa said, it happens everywhere. And I know I spoke to the chief about this at our committee meeting. Things happen at home, after hours, and I know because they see it online, it's over the weekend and some things happen, and they expect some of our parents, they really do expect our administrators to stop that from happening at home. At that point, that's no longer on you, right? But I know that I've seen it as well, where parents, they want to know, what did you do to the, my child's being bullied, what did you do to the student? You obviously cannot tell them that, but what I want to know is that the levels of disciplinary action, is that available online to where they can go back and you can say, this is what we followed? Or those who want to know what steps can be made. Going back to what Mr. Mesa said, if you find bullying, do you go straight to DAP? Are there charges pressed against you? What is the process on that? Just to educate our parents, because I see it. I'm very active on social media. I read that. And if the students don't say anything, y'all obviously can't do anything, right? And I understand it. My voice is anonymous. They can do it through that. Y'all can do your investigations. But what happens over the weekend, I read it. It comes to school, and they want y'all to, they want the school district to kind of intervene in that. You can, but you only have them for 8 hours a day. What happens after that, that kind of lies within the.
For sure.
Correct. And or it starts at school and then it goes home. But at the same time, you all only can control what happens within the 8 hours that they're in your care. And, if it happens at school, bring them in. What can we do together? But I know that I read it. It's just more of the educating our constituents and our parents that there's only so much you can share as an administrator because of laws, right? And, I see it. And I kind of understand why they get upset. They want to know, are you doing something to help my child? Well, yes, we are, but we can't tell you what we did exactly. But here's a manual. These are the steps that we've taken, and just inform them that you do have documentation. If it ever comes to the point, where, they would come to a superintendent, you have documentation, stating that you follow the protocol.
People say, what you do? Oh, I can't tell you because I can't. Well, that's because you didn't do nothing.
Right.
Correct. And that's exactly what.
Yeah, and the key is we don't react to that. So I do want to react to something that's factual, though, that you do. And that's, let's tell the story of how you just so elegantly deal with a parent who thinks you did nothing, and you walk them step by step so methodically. I loved it. You shared one with me the other day. Why don't you tell the public that, and how you did? It was a perfect example of the way you handle a parent who thinks you did nothing. And remember, you walked them through, and they were like, "Oh, okay." Will you tell that for everyone,
So we
please?
had that recently, and so what I'll do, because also for my peace of mind, because I don't want to ever have a student feel unsafe in my school. That's my job, right? And so we go back, like I said, we do a lot of things electronically for this purpose. And so I know with this particular parent, we went through, I had copies of the email, and I took verbiage from the parent's email or the child's statements that they gave to our administrators, and I listed it in chronological order. And then every action at the end, parent was like, okay, you have been addressing it. But like we've stated, it's a job to change how kids interact, right? Like, I think our world is it's bad
It's
online. I mean,
bad.
you
It's
see
bad.
it. And that just comes to the campus as well. So the job is to change the behavior and to teach our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to, it's okay. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but you also don't need to be mean, right? It's okay to have separate interests. In Steele Junior High, you have the kiddos that come together from the 3 different campuses, and now you have the band kids and the softball kids, and it creates conflict, and we have to teach them to work through that. I was gonna say under the parent, I don't know if you can scroll there. I'm sorry? No, I know. We have this, under there, we do have the code of conduct available. So it is available. Now, the actual consequence, of course, we cannot share that. There's a guide, it's an internal one, and it is a guide, but every administrator is tasked with looking at intent, lack of intent, student history, do they have the disability that it's related to. In that case, we have to have an MDR. We have to look at homelessness. So there's a series of things that we have to. So sometimes parents think we're being unfair when we're really just doing what we're tasked to do, which is to consider all those things before you issue a consequence. I don't understand.
Remember that we can live in a world of what ifs and what's going on and all this kind of stuff, but the reality is that there is a yes to go to the next box, no, go this way, yes, go this way, kind of system, and at the very end it tells you this is the consequence. It's like that shut-off system at the very end.
Correct.
And I think we can lose ourselves in that process and say, they didn't do anything, but we just gotta trust our educators that they're doing everything that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and I know that it's a job for each one of you all. Yeah, I know it is. I mean, you're having to deal with so many different personalities, so many different mentalities, and so many different situations. I myself am just getting educated on that part, because, thank goodness my granddaughter, she stands up to bullies, protecting the other little ones. But, I mean, if anything, it's just one of those things that, I just wanted to be more aware of what it is, and like Mr. Mesa was saying, that, hey, in sports, it's like no tolerance, hey, you do wrong, you're held accountable for it. And that's what it's about, teaching them to be adults, accepting responsibility.
And I'm gonna say the cell phones, I tell parents at all our parent meetings, it is a playground with no supervision. If parents are not I know I have the Bark app. There's apps that will alert you if the student is saying something about hurting themselves, others, but not everybody does that. And it's very hard for us to pin that the child said that. I mean, we know on Snapchat or in social, you can change your name. So just because the parent says it is coming from that student, how do I prove that it was that student? Everybody changes their names on social media, and that is a difficult thing. I have to be. Yes.
But they could go back and track the IP. Sorry, I just wanted to address too, and to kind of help Ms. Chavez out as I don't know if y'all know, but I've been the superintendent designee of grievances and discipline or complaints, so y'all haven't had one come to y'all, so that's a pretty good job. No joking. I know. No, but I do want to say,
you wear so many hats. Yeah.
it is a lot of work, and I want to give my hands out to the principals and the APs, because by the time something comes to me, they've already given me warning, here it is. And so when I say give me the documentation, it's like writing a book. I mean, they document the time, who was involved, who they've talked to. So when the parent does come talk to me and then they see that I'm aware of it, then they're like, okay, because sometimes they just want to be heard and know that someone's aware of it. So when it's the line of communication. So when they see that, they have the line of communication and these are the steps that we've already taken, and yes, we're already doing this next step, the parents are kind of like, okay, they're like, okay, now I understand. But then you do have those parents like, well, I want to know what happened. And it's like, if it was the tables turned, you wouldn't want to know what the disciplinary action to your child was, but, we can't. But, they need to know too that the parents say, oh, well, they changed their name. Well, they always got to remember that if it goes to court, they can always put back the IP address and see where that came from. But I did want to just say that when something does come to us, it's all about communication between the administrators, knowing about, certain circumstances. And I know if you go on Facebook, we're never going to stop hearing the complaints. But it's like, we don't know what we don't know unless somebody comes and talks to us. But, we do try to reach out to parents and children when we do know or hear of something that's going on. So I just wanted to add that to y'all.
And there are some instances when we've missed things. And, you know, it is our job to correct when we're wrong. And there's
Yeah,
been some
100%.
times that we're like, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Thank you for advocating for your kid, because if you're gonna advocate for anybody, it's your child, right? And we've missed some things, and we say, you know what, we have to correct it, and we do. You know, we're not
Yeah,
always
but if you see
right.
something, say something. That's what it comes down to. It's a community effort. That's what it is. It's everybody, not just the principals, not just the teachers, not just, you know, the leaders in our campus. It's a community effort that we all need to work together, because bullying is not gonna be tolerated here. You know, you just pretty much said that, you know. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chivetta.
Next item, action item, A, discuss and consider approval of purchase order exceeding $50,000 for kitchen equipment from commission.
Thank you, Mr. Gallegos. You know, Mr. Williams, will you come on up? You look so sharp tonight. You look amazing, sir. Talk us through this one a little bit, sir.
Good evening to Madam President Allison, Vice President Dr. Quigg, members of the board. We were just asking, considering that we have some spend down money that we were trying to utilize in our district. We had to have a spend down plan. We did submit 3 quotes of the items that we were trying to purchase to TDA, and they approved it. So now it comes before you to give the final approval, so that way we can go ahead and submit these items. In other words, we're trying to replace some ovens over at Seal that have been there for some time, and, you know, patching and patching and patching and patching. And by that time, you could have already purchased some new ones. So we want to install 4 brand new ovens at Seal Junior High, so that we can keep on having the quality of service that we're trying to have, especially with the number of kids that we have at that campus. And then we also try to incorporate steamers at Locks Beach as well as San Pedro. This would enhance the quality of the food, the way we can fix the food consistently. And then 2, it's like an extra person, because if you can put that food in the steamer, walk away for 15 minutes and go do something else, then you're utilizing your time a little wisely. So either, you know, after my experience of seeing, after being here for a short period of time, I'm looking at areas to where we can improve the quality of the service for our staff as well for our kids. So that way we can hopefully have a better service and a better quality for our district. So that's, these 2 high dollar items that we're trying to get, we need your approval, so that way we can implement this and get these up and running for these schools that actually, I feel they really need them. And I think that's gonna have a very positive impact on our community and as well as our district and school.
Sir, you said it was 4 ovens?
Yes, sir. It's 2 stacks of ovens. We have that right now at Seal, and we want to replace them. They've been there for a long time.
Okay, so it's 2 ovens,
Yes, sir.
2 stacks, so it's total of 2, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's 4.
It's 4
combined.
total.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just saw here it said 2, so but
Oh.
I'm looking at the picture now.
Right.
Yeah, 2 stacks.
I'd like to recommend the approval of the purchase orders exceeding $50,000 for the kitchen equipment as presented.
I'll second.
First by Mr. Marquez, second by Mr. Martinez. Any comments?
Are they new or?
Brand new, sir. Brand spanking new.
They deserve it.
Yes,
They
ma'am, they
deserve
do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Thank you.
We have a first and a second to approve action item A. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu? Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin?
Aye.
Mr. Mesa? Motion carries.
Item B, discuss and consider approval of purchase order exceeding $50,000 for Amplify Texas K-8 ELAR instructional material.
Thank you, Vice President Gallegos and trustees. I'm going to invite Joshua Garcia up tonight to the podium. This purchase is from the instructional materials allotment, so it doesn't hit our budget.
Yes, sir. Just to reiterate, this is the instructional materials, so it's just the renewals. Every year, obviously, we want to buy the instructional materials, the consumable workbooks, the instructional materials for the teachers. So this is a quote that you're seeing there for Amplify materials, our reading curriculum, our HQIM for K through 8. And it does have the digital resources where the teachers log on to internalize lessons, where students log on to actually do some of the lessons on the online platform. So this is for consideration of renewing those materials for them.
Those workbooks, are they like just like classroom sets?
So for student workbooks, every student does get a workbook, and then there is also classroom sets for readers, things like that, and then also the instructional materials for the teachers. Their sets. No, it's just the renewals. It's just the renewals based on our new numbers for enrollment.
For enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned enrollment, do we purchase extras just in case we do?
We
get
do.
enrollment?
We usually do a. Is it a 10%? 10%. Yeah, we do a 10%
Nice.
overage.
Perfect.
I'd like to recommend the approval of the purchase of the ELAR instructional materials for the 26-27 school year as presented by Joshua Garcia.
A second.
We got a first from Mr. Mesa, second by Mr. Martinez. Comments, questions?
We have a first and a second for action item B. Ms. Villalobos.
Aye.
Mr. Cantu. Aye. Mr. Gallegos. Aye. Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin is not present for this vote. Mr. Mesa.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Trustees, item C, discuss and consider approval of purchase order exceeding $50,000 for HMAK science construction materials.
Thank you, Mr. Gallegos and trustees. This is also additional materials from IMA, instructional materials allotment from the state. So
Yes, sir. Just for the record, that should state HMH, K8, HMH. The company is HMH for science. So this is, again, the renewals for our science curriculum. Our adoption for science is HMH for K8, and this is the exact same thing. Workbooks, teacher access for online resources, student access for online resources, but also in this is the actual science kits. Where they go into the science lab and they use consumables, they use like cylinders, beakers, things like that. Those are all included in those science kits. So that's the renewals for the consumables. So things like those kits have some things like sand, paper products that we have to rebuy. Those are our consumables because every year in the science labs they'll use those things. So sand, water, acid, things like that.
Does it cover like goggles and stuff like
So
that?
those were bought in the initial buy
Oh,
whenever
okay,
the non-consumables. So things like that we do reuse because we don't have to rebuy them. So things like the food products, the sand, any of the chemicals, vinegar, things like that are consumed. This is in those kits that we're going to rebuy because we have to replenish.
Oh, okay.
Every that. But like Dr. Puig alluded to, this is being used through the instructional allotment where we do get money from the state for every student. It does not come through our local budget. That is our state allotted money that we are using.
I'd like to recommend the approval of the purchase of the HMH K8 science instruction materials for the 26-27 school year as presented by Joshua Garcia.
A second.
We got a first from Mr. Mesa, second by Mr. Martinez. Any comments, questions?
We have a motion. We have a motion and a second to approve action item C with the changes on the item as read by Dr. Puig. Ms. Villalobos.
Aye.
Mr. Cantu. Mr. Gallegos.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin.
Aye.
Mr. Mesa. Motion carries.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Garcia.
Item D, discuss and consider approval of the teacher incentive allotment spending plan.
Thank you, Vice President Gallegos and trustees. At this time, we'd like to invite Mrs. Silvas up, and let's just go over the spending plan and how it is proposed here in the TIA funds in accordance with the TEA administrative guidelines.
Good evening once again. What you have before you is the spending plan. This is the first year that we will be awarding monies to a teacher. We hired a teacher this past school year for 25-26 school year, and he joined us with a designation. It is an exemplary teacher, and this is the first payout that the district will have to do. So by law, we're required to bring the spending plan, and basically the spending plan says that the teacher receives 90% of the dollar amount that he or she should receive, and that the district keeps 10%. And that was shared with all staff members with the committee when the spending plan was drafted. But in order for us to pay the teacher, and he must receive the dollars by July 30th of this year. Must receive the payment by July 30th. So there's our recommendation to bring to the board the spending plan, which very general, in general form, is that the teacher receives 90% of the allotment and the district keeps 10% of the allotment. And of course, within the 90%, all the deductions are taken from the 90%. And those deductions have been explained to the teachers and to the committee as well. And once we will be posting our spending plan, we're waiting for the dollar amounts for our teachers. This dollar amount that our staff member is receiving is specified by his designation, which is exemplary, and the state sends us the actual amount that the teacher should be receiving. Okay. So that's how that one works for this year, right?
This payout was put together by the committee, or what's required by the?
The spending plan was recommended by the committee.
By the committee,
This is our spending plan, which is 90% that the teacher should receive, and the district will keep 10%. Yes, sir.
And just I know per conversations with Mr. Gallegos, that the district pays this, and then at the end of the year, you're reimbursed that, right?
If we will settle up later.
So-
The state will send it.
Settle
But
up.
we have to.
Yeah, so the district will pay that, and then,
Yes.
okay.
So as we work on this coming year's budget, we will be submitting to Mrs. Cisneros an estimate of what the district needs to appropriate.
projected.
What we're projecting, once we have all our data, because we don't have all our data yet. Once we do that, we'll put all the information into our spreadsheets and our tools, our toolkit that was shared with us today. The state is finalizing another toolkit where we can upload all our data, and we'll be able to have a general idea, nothing is final yet.
Correct.
But at least we can provide an estimate of that, a dollar amount, so that we can appropriate in our budget. Because yes, the district pays it up front, and then TA settles up with us.
I'm assuming that we'll get all the information right within July with our budget season, and that's kind of exciting to see.
It
to see
is,
that.
it is. It's exciting. So for this year, it's just one teacher, but in order for us to pay the teacher, we must have board approval.
Okay.
I'd like to recommend that the board approve the teacher incentive allotment spending plan as presented by Deanna Silvas.
I'll make a motion. We have a first and a second to approve action item D. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu?
Aye.
Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin? Mr. Mesa? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, trustees. Item E, discuss and consider approval of nomination to the TASB Board Region 2. Quick.
Thank you, Vice President Gallegos and trustees. You all have the opportunity to nominate a trustee for the from the board for the Region 2 Directors TASB Board. And so, if anyone's interested, you are certainly you can read through the packet and nominate someone who qualifies for that. Now, currently, the position is held by Christy Littleton in Port Aransas, and she's indicated that she will be seeking re-election. The term is for 2 years, beginning at the close of the 26th TASB convention and then expiring after the convention in 2028. So if someone's interested in the board, obviously you guys can. Somebody's pointing at Mr. Marroquin over there. Be on the director.
When is the final date to nominate?
June 23rd is due.
23rd.
Yes, sir.
So it would have to be here, right? Like,
Yes, sir.
we don't have another meeting until then.
We'll have to vote on that right now, right?
I mean, you don't have to do anything, but just there might be someone who's interested.
If we want to nominate somebody.
Mr. Marroquin, everyone's pointing at him, so I'm just curious.
Sir, you probably have more knowledge on this. What is the requirements, or what do you have to do on this committee?
Well, you're going to serve and work with the delegates at the delegate assembly. And everyone's expected to go to the delegate assembly, and you're going to work with the association there to come up with various policies that guide the state. It sounds like something Mr. Marroquin was inclined to do. No, but it's a huge responsibility. It's an honor to be on that board. There's 43 from around the state on the board, so it's just something for.
I'm curious. I've been part of the delegate assembly quite a few times, and it's actually very interesting. And how does a person get elected? Well, I want to inquire what am I getting myself into.
Well, there's a process, and the process is laid out through here. I would suggest if you're interested, and so we don't turn this into a dissertation, let's make a nomination, and then let's let you go through the process. Okay, I can help you
And
with
then,
that.
yeah, you can help me, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'll back out if
Honored to help.
I would. Who did? Me?
I nominate Mr. Martinez
Okay.
for the position that's open
On that thing, you know what we're talking about?
Okay, we got a nomination for Mr. Martinez, second.
A second.
Mr. Mesa, second by Ms. Villalobos.
We got a first and a second to nominate me for TASB Board for Region 2. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu? Mr. Gallegos? Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin? Mr. Mesa? Motion carries.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
So there'll be a biological sketch and some interview questions we'll go through that we can work on together and get it submitted by the due date.
Perfect.
Next item, closed session. Section 551, oh. We got a first Mr. Mesa and a second by Mr. King.
Finish.
First and a second to go into executive session at 7:44. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu? Mr. Gallegos? Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin? Mr. Mesa? We are now going to executive session.
It's pursuant to section 551, .074 of the Texas Government Code, the board will adjourn to closed session for the purpose of considering the appointments, performance evaluations, resignations, reassignment duties, discipline, and dismissal of employees.
discussion. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu? Aye. Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin?
Aye.
Mr. Mesa?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, adjournment.
So move.
First by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Mesa.
We have a first and a second to adjourn the meeting at 8:33. Ms. Villalobos?
Aye.
Mr. Cantu?
Aye.
Mr. Gallegos?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Marroquin?
Aye.
Mr. Mesa? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, trustees.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Okay.